Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks and I saw Puss in Boots: The Last Wish and it was amazing. Now going into this movie, I gotta be honest, when it was first announced, I was a bit skeptical. It just sounded like DreamWorks was so desperate for a hit that they just had to scrape the bottom of the barrel for movies that they were in production once before and revitalize so that they can have at least some hope of making some money back. So we got Puss in Boots 2, and I was a bit skeptical when I first heard this was actually coming out again. But then I saw more trailers and more stuff about the movie got revealed, and I got excited. Really excited to see this movie. The trailers all made this look really great and a return to form for the Shrek franchise and maybe even DreamWorks as well. And so thanks to a couple of early access screenings that Universal held this past weekend at the time of this recording, I was able to see Puss in Boots 2 a month in advance. And let me just say this folks, not only did this movie meet my expectations, it exceeded them tenfold. I loved this movie. First off, the story here is surprisingly excellent and even at times mature and even really dark. The film deals with the fact that Puss is on the last of his 9 lives, so he has to go find this magical star that fell out of the sky that can grant wishes so he can gain all of his 9 lives back. And obviously on paper that sounds hilarious as it really makes the most out of him being a cat and the whole 9 lives thing. And the movie executes that very well in a both hilarious and a mature way. I'll talk more about the comedy later, but as far as the story goes, it was really engaging, made me care about a lot of the characters. It was exciting, adventurous, and even dark and really mature. It doesn't hold back with some of the subject matter. It never talks down to its audience or treats them as if this is for like the youngest of children. No, it talks about these themes about making the most out of the life you have and being the best version of yourself in a really solid way that I wasn't expecting, and even at times got a bit emotional and sweet and wholesome at times as well. Then there's the animation, which is once again another animated movie that uses the 2D 3D hybrid style, which again I'm surprised there isn't even an official term for that yet, but regardless it uses the same style as stuff like Spider-Verse, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and DreamWorks' own Bad Guys. And I gotta be honest, I feel like this movie has the best use of that style so far, because let's be real, we don't know how much Spider-Verse 2 is cooking, but I digress. This looks gorgeous. Everything from the colors to the designs to the action, it all looks so wonderful. The updated designs of the old characters and the new designs of the newer characters makes the world feel a bit more simpler and on the cartoony side, and I think that really works for the humor and the tone this movie is going for. It adds to the comedy and the action and the emotional moments as well. The animators really did a fantastic job with this movie, and I look forward to seeing where DreamWorks goes with utilizing this technique in the future, as they've only worked on this for like 2 movies now and they've already become experts at it. Then there are the characters. First, there is the title character himself, Puss in Boots, and I gotta be honest, this is the best use I have seen of him in a while. He's flamboyant, full of himself, energetic, but he is also broken and sad and miserable as well. The filmmakers did a really good job with handling the fact that he's dealing with that pretty much after his life ends after this one, it's pretty much over for him, and I think the filmmakers did a really good job showing him dealing with that. It led to some of the much more mature, emotional, and darker elements of the movie as well as the character of Kitty Softpaws, who was just as funny and lovable as she was in the first movie. The chemistry between her and Puss is just as lovable and enjoyable and hilarious as the first film, and they do some really cool stuff with her. And then there's some of the new characters like Goldilocks and the Three Bears and Perro, who from the trailer I thought they were gonna be pretty much one note side characters. They looked funny, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna like them as much as the old characters, but I actually really enjoyed them. They were hilarious and also had a big role in the emotional side of things, especially Perro. He just looked like silly little comic relief from the trailers, but he has a bigger part on the emotional side that I wasn't expecting it to. He was really a big surprise, a neat surprise I might add, as well as the villains. First there's the big bad wolf, and holy crap is he threatening and intimidating. There were even the times where I got kind of scared of him. The filmmakers really made him an imposing threat. I won't go into too much because he's in the trailers, but not that much, so you don't really get to see the full intensity of him, but be ready and be warned, he is legitimately threatening. And then there's another villain who I don't think is in much of the trailers, at least as far as I know. Again, I saw this a month early, so they could show him in more promo material. But regardless, I thought he was hilarious. He had some of the funniest moments in the movie, and he was a neat addition as well. Didn't like him as much as the big bad wolf, but he was still really funny. And oh yeah, didn't I mention earlier in this video that this movie is hilarious? Because this movie is hilarious. It would be rare, and I cannot put any more emphasis on the word rare, if this movie had a joke that fell flat. I pretty much laughed out loud and consistently throughout the entire movie. There were probably like maybe 7 jokes that didn't get a laugh out of me, but when the movie has this many good jokes and I'm laughing as much as I did in this movie, you can pretty much gloss over the bad ones. It was just so funny. From all the parodies mocking classic fairy tale icons and tropes, to the slapstick, to the banter of the characters, to even some of the more edgier, darker jokes that I'm surprised they got away with in this kids movie, that brought me back to the edgier, darker jokes from the former Puss in Boots and Shrek movies. This movie is just chock full of so many hilarious and funny moments. I laughed out loud and consistent pretty much throughout. Now, if there is one big flaw I have with the movie, it would probably be the first act. Now, it's not to say that the first act was terrible and I didn't enjoy myself watching it, but I definitely felt like it took a bit of a while for the movie's like initial plot to get started. It definitely spent a lot more time setting things up and explaining the events to come than I was expecting in the first act, and it really sunk how much slower paced the first act was compared to the rest of the movie, which was on like maximum overdrive, go 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 go, with the fast pace throughout the second and third acts, which are admittedly much better pace. And it's, once again, it's not that the first act was terrible, but it definitely felt like it was still trying to find its footing and still setting things up, which caused it to feel a bit weaker than the rest of the movie, sadly. But that's pretty much it in terms of flaws. I loved this movie. Again, it exceeded all my expectations. It had a great story, beautiful animation, likable characters, strong, mature, dark themes that I wasn't expecting, and hilarious jokes. This is hands down the second best Shrek movie, right after Shrek 2. You heard me. I think this is better than the first Puss in Boots and the first Shrek. If you are a fan of Shrek, or even just good animated DreamWorks movies, or just good movies in general, I highly recommend that you all go check this out when it comes out later this month. Of course, at the time of this recording. I know you all have your eyes set on Avatar, and I'm not gonna hold you back if you already bought your tickets and you're really excited to see that. But if you, by the time this movie comes out, if you have already seen it, or if Avatar 2 has somehow sold out, I know that's really hard to believe. Please, I am urging you all to go check this movie out. It is well worth your time. It is the best Shrek movie in a while and the best DreamWorks movie in a while as well. Go check it out. If the bad guys started off DreamWorks' comeback era, this further cemented it. I loved this movie. So those are my thoughts on Puss in Boots: The Last Wish when the film officially comes out, as at the time of this recording, the movie has still yet to be released officially in theaters nationwide. What did you all think of it if you've seen it by then? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links at the end of the video. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.
Life 4,
I became a pillow on Pinterest.
Life 5,
I died from sheer disinterest.
Life 6,
Had the urge to feel lava on my whiskers.
Life 7,
Chased a bird into a wood chipper.
Life 8.
Donated my guts for tennis rackets.